So how long were you in the Navy?
3 years. And DD 884, fighting Floyd B. Parks.
Were you ever scared?
Oh yeah. It's when I went through a typhoon in down near that big island that's not Australia. Next one, the next size.
New Guinea? New Zealand?
New Zealand. Good call. But I was scared every time that I got in the gun mount as safety observer and had to be looking at this thing where all you could see was fly shit on the end of it. It was dirty. You couldn't see. And I was looking because I had to see that we were aimed at they used to drag like a sail. They used to drag something they'd shoot at.
Like a target behind a plane.
Target behind a plane, one could say. That would be accurate.
And you had to make sure you were shooting at the target, not the plane.
Not the plane, exactly. You've heard this before. So anyway, we're pum, 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 pum. That's the way it goes in a destroyer on a 5-inch gun. It just electrically shoots. As soon as it bang, as soon as there's a spade, they hit a thing that loads it into a place where it's going to shoot. And off it goes. And I'm standing beside this thing like this. It's the gun, 5-inch gun. The shell's 5 inches. That's why they call it 5-inch. But makes a lot of noise, as you can imagine, in a steel cabinet about the size of half this room here. And I used to pray for rain because it used to scare me in there because there's all these noises and the guns would be going like shaking the thing that they would, you know, look at the plane. Radar would be on, could be on the plane. The guns are going like this, and I'm like, you know, I have very good eyes still in those days, but I couldn't. It looked like fly shit moving across. You couldn't see that. I couldn't see squat, and that really worried me. I mean, I couldn't stop them from shooting each other, shooting the plane. I could put my hand on the pointer's shoulder and do something, tell them don't shoot or whatever. That didn't work. And they'd be, you know, a lot of noises that I didn't understand. And then the gunnery guy, who's a enlisted man, like I can say what he is, but it wouldn't mean anything to you, but he would be like not close to an officer. He would just be a enlisted guy that really knew how to shoot guns. And all at once he says, silence. And when you yell silence in the gun mount, everybody stops. And the breech is the thing that goes up behind the shell so that when you shoot, it's going out that way, not back into the gun mount. So he said, silence, silence, the gunny did, and which meant he's got a hang fire, which meant that the charge didn't, the powder didn't go off. The thing that shoots the gun didn't go off. It's stuck going up. And he says, Mr. Haupt, you don't have to stay in, you can get out. And my one of my cooks was in the gun mount, and I saw him dive, black guy, dove straight through this open hole down to a steel deck, head first, just to get the hell out of there. They knew something was bad was happening, dangerous was happening. So anyway, I said, no, like an asshole. I said, no, I'll help you, you know, pine that thing up or something. I don't know what I was going to do, but I stayed. That was the German in me overpouring. So he gets this wooden hammer or rubber hammer or something. He's pounding this thing up. and it didn't go off, so it didn't shoot. The gun just didn't shoot, which is the danger part, because if it shoots, it blows back through the into this room this big, and everybody's dead.
Yeah.
And the supply officer should have been out of there. And that was the scariest part I ever had in that ship. So there was the guy who was supposed to be the deck officer, which is a guy who stands down by the deck where people come aboard ship. They were on leave, you know, were off on leave. When they come back, it was just like the movie during those days, which was Mr. Roberts, where guys would be coming back aboard ship all dressed up in lavas.
Or
and
Officer Bilko, is that what I'm thinking?
no, it was
Mr. Roberts.
Mr. Roberts.
Sorry.
So these guys were coming back on board. No, it wasn't the Kane Unit
That's a good movie, though.
That was a good movie.
Yeah.
But anyway, this guy didn't like the idea of having to stand deck officer, even though you had a gun. I wanted to do it because they gave you a gun. I thought, if I'm on that deck and something bad's going on, I got a gun, and nobody else has one.
Had you ever trained with a gun?
Yes.
So you had fired a gun?
Yes, we had fired a gun, but none of us could hit the target. We all shot it into the ground, because when you're not used to a big, heavy Army 45, you tilt it down like that, and bang, you shoot it into the ground, and we all did, the guys in OCS all did the same thing. None of us could shoot, especially me on the deck. But fortunately, I had all my guys right up above me on my potatoes, guarding the potatoes.
So what happened?
So I have the gun, I have the power. The German in me is just boiling over. I said, this is the Navy. This isn't just feeding the guys and paying the people. This is guarding the deck from the enemy. The enemy were, that first place we landed was, I don't know, but we were refueling. We had, the pipes were all laid out onto our ship, and they were pouring oil into us from this land base. Oh, what was the name? What was it we called that place we landed? Fiji Islands were one place we landed, I remember, on that trip. But I forget the name of this. But anyway, this guy, they're all coming aboard ship, and guys were like Mr. Roberts. They had skirts on, they had lavas, I think we called them then, and they had, you know, necklaces and all kind of things. And they, you know, on the shore for one reason, they were trying to find a woman.
And find liquor.
And find liquor.
Booze.
Yeah, they didn't have any trouble finding booze, but they had trouble finding women that didn't hurt them. They had guys who were coming aboard. My first-class storekeeper, one of my most important guys, a lady had taken a picture and bang, in his face. He was cut halfway through. His face was cut off, practically. So that he wasn't the story, though. A guy came on board, and he was acting jazzy, like he was drunk. He was drunk, something bad. And he came aboard, and you have a, what they call, you have a enlisted man down by the deck of the ship, down by the railing where they come aboard, and he's kind of straightening guys up. He's taking off all the necklaces or something. He'd pull them off, and they didn't like that. So he did a few things to this guy. And the guy's name was Solon. I still remember. So long, Solon, because that's what happened. He got court-martialed because he came aboard, and I watched him as he came aboard. he came down to where that guy was. The guy was like a Mexican guy because he was short, I remember. And he comes up behind him with a Berry pistol. Berry pistol is the one you shoot up to shoot the...
Flare.
Flare.
Flare, yeah, flare, thank you. And blam, he shoots this guy in the back of the head with his Berry pistol. So I run down, you know, Mr. German is in me now, just boiling over, and I grab him and I say, get that, you know, you're going to the brig. So I yelled two guys, I say, take this guy to the brig. We don't have a freaking brig on a destroyer.
Sounds really good, though.
Yeah, it sounded good. And they took him and locked him in somewhere.
But that's pretty dangerous if you're pumping oil into your ship and a guy's shooting a flare gun.
Yes.
What happened to the fella's shot? Was he okay?
Yeah, his ear was kind of knocked off, but that's about all.
Did you draw your weapon?
I reached for it, and I don't know if I drew it, but I might have, because I was saying, you're going to the brig and you did this, do that, and whatever. And I remember he was reaching for something else, you know, the thing that you shot, I guess, reaching for more bullets or whatever they are. And I'm yelling at him and arresting him. So they take him to into a brig somewhere and lock him up. My guys did.
What was one of the coolest experiences you had in the Navy? You got to see something relatively unique.
Yes, I saw an atomic bomb explode, and I saw what happens when it explodes 14 miles away from you. And the water, there's this force field comes across the water like a small, about this high force field. And you're standing there watching it, and you don't know what's going to happen when it hits you. And all once it hits you, and it's like somebody just hit the side of the ship with a sledgehammer, boing, like that, is the noise it made. And you duck. Everybody ducks because you don't know what the hell else to do. And I saw that half that island go up in the air about 1,000 feet.
Did you have any special gear on? Did you have battle?
I had a Navy shirt. That was all.
No pants, no underwear, nothing?
Yeah, I had pants and underwear.
Okay. I just didn't know how you guys rolled during nuclear tests.
No. Everybody was afraid because we didn't know what the hell was going to happen. I mean, we weren't that far away from it.
That doesn't seem very far to me.
No, it was 14 miles.
So you were in the Navy when you got married.
Yes.
So and actually you had your first child. You were still in the Navy.
But do you remember finding out you were going to be a father? Do you remember any of those details?
I was playing cards in the back of the ship with a couple of the officers, and the captain comes down and says, well, Dad, just got the wire. It was a boy. I said, yay.